On today's show, we wind the clock back to 2018 and head to Willowbank Raceway on the outskirts of Brisbane for the Gulf Western Oil 51st Winternationals, Australia's biggest drag racing spectacle. Our focus of attention is the dramatic 400 Thunder Championship battles from the 2017-18 season in Pro Slammer and Top Fuel. This is Speedweek.
Good to have the competition, and it's been a close run all the way. We've been in the lead twice and been behind the rest of the way.
We had the lead for a while. Zappai took it back off us. We got it back off him again, and he's back in front again. But I guess the Winternationals is where it's all going to happen.
Hello and welcome to 400 Thunder. On today's show, we've got all the action from Pro Slammer, and we will be deciding a championship. Will it be the points leader, John Zappai, or will it be the rookie, Paul Mouhayet? We'll find out very shortly, but let's take a look at the points coming into this event. John Zappai, the 11-time champ, leads the way on 655 points, but he has got the rookie, Paul Mouhayet, nipping at his heels on 639. Mark Valeri, the reigning champ, sits in third with Frankie Taylor and Ben Bray, the teammates from Gulf Western Oil, sitting in fourth and fifth respectively. It is beautiful conditions here for racing today, so without further ado, let's get into one of the most exciting categories in the 400 Thunder series here at the Gulf Western Oil's Winternationals.
Here we are at Willowbank Raceway for the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. We've had a day of qualifying rubbed out because of the wet stuff from the sky. There are going to be 3 qualifiers today for Gumdale, Demolition, Pro, Slammer. And the question on everyone's lips, will the king reign supreme, John Zappai, currently leading that championship, or will the rookie, Paul Mouhayet, come from behind and get him? Joe McDornan and Rob Oberg caught up with the 2 drivers.
With John Zappai, a lot on the line in the first round of racing today and in Pro Slammer.
Oh, for sure. You know, the Fuchs Zanani Monaro has been running really strong all weekend. Probably the most consistent car here. But, you know, it's all going to come down to reaction times and, you know, the varying conditions of the track, whether that affects anybody else, whether it affects us, we don't know. But we've got our eye on the prize, and we're just going to focus, and I'm feeling a lot better today than I was yesterday, mentally and physically, so hopefully everything will be good.
Paul Mouhayet's really come along, stepped up this year, rookie year, but a lot of history in sedan racing. But have you been surprised at how hard they've attacked the championship this year and how much speed they've shown?
Oh, for sure, but you know, they've spent the money, they've bought the right parts, the right people, and they've got a good combination. It's brand new. Well, the best people in the world put that combo together, and he knew how to drive already, so you know, it was a no-brainer that they were going to be competitive.
Now, 11 months ago at Darwin's Nitro up north, Paul started his Pro Slammer career, went all the way to the final, and it's been a slugfest for the championship ever since, right across the season, Paul.
Yeah, it certainly has. You know, we had the lead for a while. Zappai took it back off us. We got it back off him again, and he's back in front again. But I guess the Winternationals is where it's all going to happen.
Any nerves kicking in yet?
Not at all. We're here to do our job. My crew does their job. My crew chief does his job. If I do mine, should all be good.
Now, there's only 16 points difference in it at the moment. A round of racing's worth 20, but there's qualifying points, there's low ET points, and there's high speed points. Every one of those bonus points is going to be critical, isn't it?
Yeah, they certainly do. Look, we got ourselves in a pretty good position testing last week. We went 561. So I guess we'll go into the first round of qualifying, and you know, we're going to try and go fast, but not stupid fast, and then we'll creep up on it as we get through qualifying and see what happens from there.
Well, Rob, that Paul Mouhayet and the Mouhayet team, they're sure looking fired up coming into qualifying here for Pro Slammer.
There's no question about that. I mean, we've had a couple of days of qualifying in the sportsman classes here at the Winter Nationals. Rain interrupted the first session of Pro Slammer qualifying for Gumdale Demolition. Then we got into Saturday. We're fitting 3 rounds in, and it all got very, very busy. There's no question about that. One of the first cars out we saw was Paul Canuli, and he hadn't raced all season, and look what he came up with. A really strong 593 off the trailer.
Yeah, that was really good for that team there. We hadn't seen him this season so far. That was a good first shot for the team for Paul Canuli. Russell Pavey, though, he had a bit of dramas, but he got the car down here on this pass to a great, not a great, but 684 for the team, so it was a good start as well.
Next pairing that we saw was Emilio Spinozzi and Marty Dack. Well, Dack from Western Australia really threw the gauntlet down with a 577. Man, oh man, that put the cat amongst the pigeons. A 615 for Spinozzi.
Yeah, Gary Phillips next up against Scott McLean, but Phillips was through the line first, so he ran through with a 574. McLean with a 590. Phillips, the early #1 qualifier there at that point.
Well, Stephen Ham on right of screen was one of the hot favourites coming in here, and he showed us why. Andrew Searle got a little bit out of the groove, but Ham, well, he's laid down a good 5.697 to go to the top spot, a 5.93 for Searle.
Yeah, it was respected for Searle as well, but Stephen Ham, though, that 5.69, that was incredible. And we got the next pairing, Sam Fennick. He's got a bit of form coming to the event as well. He went a 5.70. Benny Bray in the lane beside him, 5.77. Our defending champion, though, Mark Polari here in the first session. They got that Monaro out pretty well for AC Delco. Frankie Taylor beside him. And Polari went through for a 6.01. Frankie Taylor went 5.89. So they were in the field early here in the first session of Pro Slammer.
Already in the first session, we could see it was going to be a tough race, and look who lined up beside each other. Zappai and Mouhayet, nothing in it. Mouhayet blows it up across the line to a 5.72, but Zappai took #1 with a 5.66.
Could that be a sign of things to come there? Zappai getting the early advantage over Paul Mouhayet here in qualifying.
All the way from New Zealand, Trevor Smith trying to qualify in the Gumdale Pro Slammer, and guess what? Not this time, but a 6.23 was very close to his personal best.
Michelle Davies, Pro Logistics on that side of that Mustang. Qualifying session #1 here in Pro Slammer, having a bit of dramas with the car. They weren't happy. It was only session #1, so they could come back out and run again, but Jason Donnelly in the lane beside it, they had no dramas there. He took the Chevy through the finish line for a 6.02. Very close to their personal best as well.
So by this stage we had John Zappai on top. We had Paul Mouhayet and the Mouhayet team thrashing to do an engine change. We move into qualifying session 2, and it was Scotty McLean first out in the McLean Motorsport Monaro. This guy was driving severely handicapped. His right ankle heavily strapped with a torn Achilles tendon.
There you go, Scott McLean through here in qualifying session #2, went a 5.83 for that team, well off what we know they could do.
By now we could tell you we're going to need something in the 5.80s or maybe better to even make it into the top 8. Jason Donnelly was trying with his Chevy Nomad, and in beside him Ben Bray was really keen to grab a spot, and he did that. 5.77 with a 3. Jason Donnelly, a few problems to a 7.20.
Our interstate competitor Trevor Smith back out again up against Michelle Davies. Davies gets off the line this time. She takes that Mustang through the finish line on a full pass, goes 6.15. Great pass there for the team in qualifying session #2. Not enough to get him inside the 8 just yet.
Well, Paul Canuli was back in the Duster up against Russell Pavey with the 63 Corvette. Pavey still having a few problems with that car, but Canuli showing miles of potential again. 5.92, just not quite bringing it home.
Stewie Bishop of Wallace Bishops up against Andrew Searle. Qualifying session number 2, Stewie Bishop with a lot of smoke here. He goes through for a 5.88. Andrew Searle slows to a 6.01 from his first pass. Is it enough to get in the field? This field is absolutely killer.
Well, next up we had Marty Dack again from Perth and Emilio Spinozzi. The pro stock convert had a few problems, and Dack couldn't match his earlier 5.77. He ran a 6.10.
Mark Valeri taking on Frankie Taylor. Valeri gets off the line strong. Frankie Taylor with a bit of, some issues there out of the groove. Valeri goes through for a 5.80 second pass. That puts him into the field at the moment.
Well, Paul Mouhayet was up against Steve Ham, two of the fastest cars in the field. And look at Ham absolutely flying across the line. He runs a 5.71. Mouhayet hung around on the lights with a slow reaction time and laid down an even better 5.65. What did Zappai have in reply?
He goes through for a 5.65 as well. He was 0.02 of a second slower than Mouhayet here at the end of qualifying session number 1. But the name on everyone's lips, Victor Bray.
Well, Victor was making a comeback to racing. I spoke to him earlier on in the pits. Well, the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals is the biggest event of the year. It's full of big stories, but probably none bigger than this. Victor Bray, you're back.
It looks that way, doesn't it? Going to go and have a run this afternoon. I missed this event last year. I had health issues, had some serious surgery, so it's taken like a year to get where I am now. I'm still battered and beat up a little bit, but I'm going to have a run this afternoon and see how we go. The IHRA have given us my licence back, passed all the medicals, so looking forward to it, but tentatively nervous. These cars are fast and they can pretty much do what they like, so I'm hoping I remember how to do it.
Well, the Gulf Western Oil's 57. It's been waiting for you.
Yeah, it has been. Benny's done a good job putting them back together for us, and a lot of the parts went on Frankie Taylor's Corvette and Ben's car. It was sort of a spare parts car while I was laid up, but she's back together now. We're looking forward to it, and the track's going to be great. This is probably the best track and the best air that we get all year. So if I'm going to come back to one event, it should be the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals, mate.
This was an incredibly emotional time. The Willowbank crowd absolutely on their feet as Victor Bray does his first run in over a year, runs in the 6.20s. The time didn't matter. It was all about the fact that Victor Bray was back. There were plenty of tears amongst the Gulf Western Oil family, that's for sure.
There were goosebumps all around there. It's great to see Victor Bray on track here. He finalised that qualifying session number 2 for Gumdale Demolition Pro Slammer. We now move into final qualifying session. I am expecting record-breaking numbers here in Q3 ride.
Well, this is it, do or die. Only 8 of these drivers will go through to elimination finals tomorrow. Michelle Davies at the moment is not one of those. In beside her, Jason Donnelly also is not in the field. This is the last roll of the dice for both of these drivers.
Both of these drivers will need to probably run PBs if they want to get into this field. Jason Donnelly, he goes through for a 6.01. Michelle Davies with dramas runs a 9.68 second pass. Jason Donnelly will not be here on race day, but that car, it tried everything there.
Yeah, have a look at Michelle Davies. The car was in a fair bit of trouble early. Hasn't been the greatest weekend for that team, but man, we know that they are going to be a force to be reckoned with next season.
It is when you've got 18 cars trying to get into this 8-car field, you need to be running some quick numbers. I think you need to be running in that 580 zone, at least low 580s, maybe even high 570s.
Well, the bump spot's already in the mid 580s. So here again, we've got the next 2 drivers trying to fight their way in. Emilio Spinozzi in the Hitachi car has come from Pro Stock. This is just their 2nd event in Pro Slammer. And Russ Pavey, of course, well, he's a privateer from the Gold Coast. Throws everything he's got at the sport, that's for sure. But he's going to have to run an incredible personal best if he's going to fight his way into this Gumdale Demolition Pro Slammer field.
We have seen Pavey run in that 5-second zone previously. Oh, out of the groove. Pavey wheels up towards the center line. Spinozzi, what's he got here? Is it enough to get into the field? He goes 6-1-2 at 394 kilometers per hour. It's not enough, but this team, put your hands together. It's a great debut season, only in their second event, and they've done pretty well so far.
Well, yeah, we could see Russ Pavey. He got up on the wheelie bars straight away and headed for the centre line. He could do nothing but control the car and get off the throttle. Well, Scotty McLean, in testing, came out and ran the fastest Pro Slammer time we've ever seen in Australia just a week ago at the winter warm-up test day. But at this stage, he is not in the field, and neither is Andrew Searle in the Acme Composite Supplies Mustang. These guys are where the pressure is right now. Look at these in-car shots. Man, they will be feeling every bit of what it's going to take to try and get into this slammer field.
If someone said to me a week ago that Scott McLean would be on the outside looking in, I'd say you'd be crazy. Can he do it here on this final pass? Scott McLean goes through. Is it enough? We see a 5.87 at 411 kilometers per hour. Andrew Searle goes 6.15. Rusty, they are not in the field.
5.87, Darren May. Unfortunately, mate, it's been a tough old week and a tough old weekend after that fantastic run last week.
Yeah, we've struggled. We've had a few obstacles, and we did our best to get over them, and we didn't pull that off. Hey, we all have good days, we all have bad days. Today is, pedaling, it's running decent, but I just didn't get my act together in time.
Have a look here on the replay. Not only was McLean not quite quick enough, but Searle, he was trying everything and then bang onto the centre line. That run's disqualified and wasn't quick enough anyway.
Yeah, Scott McLean was really hampered with that injury all weekend. He couldn't drive the car the way he normally did in the past. They had to change the setup there. And unfortunately, it's an end to his weekend there for McLean.
Well, there. Look what we've got now. It is the Corvette twins. Frankie Taylor from Texas and Ben Bray from Brisbane. Man, these teammates for Gulf Western Oil going head-to-head. They're trying to get good qualifying spots. And it all comes down to the fact Ben's already got a 570 on the board. He's in the field. Can't be bumped. Let's see what Frankie Taylor comes up with.
Frankie Taylor's on the outside looking in. He's had shake. Benny Bray with dramas as well. Both drivers won't improve. Frankie Taylor won't be there on Sunday. Benny Bray with that 577 earlier. That'll keep him in the field. At the moment, he rolls through for that 9-second pass. Let's have a look at the replay here of Benny Bray. He got out strong and there's a bit of shake there. Not too sure.
I think once Ben had the shake, he knew he was never going to match his earlier 577, so it was wasted. You may as well click it off and save it. Not sure what went on with Frankie Taylor, but I can tell you he hasn't qualified.
Mark Valeri on screen for AC Delco in the Monaro. He is the defending 400 Thunder champion. He will give it up at the end of this meet. Taking on
Stephen Ham. He is down there in the Fuso Camaro. Man, has he been a revelation this weekend. Right up there at the pointy end. Comes out fast. He's running away from Valeri. Oh, it's quick again. 5.652. Man, oh man, Valeri's 5.81, not quite as quick as his earlier 5.80. He is on the bump spot, Valeri, but, Gerald McDornan, he is down there, no doubt, with a very disappointed Texan.
Well, Steve Ham's is rolling around the corner, but Frankie Taylor, happy for Steve Ham, but that wasn't the result that you wanted with the Gulf Western Oils team.
No, the car's been fighting us all weekend, and you need 3 shots to get in, 8-car field. We knew it was going to be tough. We couldn't back it down. We tried to run in the low 70, and it just went out there and shook, and Ben did the same thing. He shook. I think he's still in right now, but yeah, not us getting in. That kind of sucks, but I want to thank everybody, at the Bray team, they put a bunch of tireless work in this thing to keep it going, and, I've had good fun over here. It just wasn't in the cards for today, I guess.
And Stephen Ham in the Fuso Camaro, he has just taken away the #1 qualifying spot by 1,000th of a second. Gerald McDonald's with him now.
Steve Ham, 5.65 with the 2 #1.
Who's left to run, but There's a couple of cars behind us. I think they're going to sort that out in a second. We just wanted to sneak up on what we had earlier, and hopefully the track had come to it. It was a bit slippery early on that other run, so it slowed down. We tried to repeat, but anyway, we'll take that.
John Zappai is now in number 3. Now, from the championship point of view, it's very, very important where you qualify, because there is 8 points for the number 1 qualifier, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 down to number 8. And he is in the championship battle of his career. So he's going to be trying to grab that number 1 back here if he can, but that pesky Marty Dack's been really quick in the Mustang.
5.65 with the 2. That's the time to beat for John Zappai. He goes through, runs a 5.67 with the 2. He misses it by 0.02 of a second, 411 kilometres per hour there for John Zappai. He stays in number 3 at the moment. Marty Dack, though, he went through with an 8-second pass. He had some dramas.
Yeah, lots of tyre shake there for Marty Dack. And he won't run as quick as earlier, but he's in the field. That's all that matters.
Gerald, what's John's thoughts on being number 3 in qualifying?
John Zappai, 5.67. Steve Ham just pushed you back a little bit. Wasn't quite what you wanted?
No, obviously we were trying to improve, and you know, Paul's coming now, so anything could happen. But if Steve keeps number 1, well, that's good, because he takes points off Paul. But we'll see what happens with Paul now.
Well, we're going to find out in just a few seconds. Here is Paul Mouhayet for Moitz, Mack Trucks and Komatsu. In beside him, you can't rule out Sam Fennick in the App Shop Camaro. This guy was runner-up at the last round of the championships down in Sydney.
Yeah, they've really picked up their performances in that App Shop Camaro, running in the low 570 zone, looking for that 560 pass. 565 with the 2. That's number 1 qualifier of Stephen Hand. Can Paul Mouhayet get another point on John Zappai here in qualifying?
It looks quick. It is quick, but not enough. Just outside. 568. An 11-second pass is no good for Fennick, but Steve Ham will stay number 1. And that's the look of a very relieved man. He's hung onto the pole. I honestly thought this looked quick enough, Mark.
I did too. I honestly thought that Stephen Hand would be bumped to number 2 on this pass for the Mouhayet team. But 5.68, you can't complain. He has got 1 point on Zappai in qualifying here. He will go into the race day at number 2.
Well, Stuart Bishop for Wallace Bishop Jewelers, we know this car can run 570 and get into the field. The bump spot at the moment, 5.804. It's held by Mark Valeri, the defending champion. Trevor Smith's on the outside in the Kiwi car.
And we've got to point out, that is a record bump at the moment at 5.80. If Stuart Bishop here can run to the 570 zone, that is an 8-car field all quicker than 5.7 seconds. That would be incredible. Stuart Bishop out here.
Half track, it looks good. I think a belt's off it. Saw a supercharger belt come off that car. He only runs a 601. Trev Smith with some problems on a 772, but Bishop won't go into the field. It is still that 580 bump for Valeri. The Kiwi tried valiantly, but just not enough for this tough Gumdale Demolition Pro Slammer field. Have a look.
It looked good early for Stuart Bishop. You see the puff of smoke there, the butterflies closed, rolls through for a 601. 1 car left, Rob.
Now look at the crowd here at Willowbank Raceway. They are again on their feet for this man in the Gulf Western Oil 57 Chevy. It is Victor Bray, been through an enormous health battle. Serious surgery, has battled and overcome cancer, and he's making his return to the field. Such an emotional time for Marie, his wife there, Ben just closing the door.
Getting goosebumps every time we see this car here on track with Victor behind the wheel.
It's not possible, is it? 580. He would have to run his personal best, but what a fairy tale if he could fight his way into this field.
Oh, there's a pedal there.
On and off the throttle. That'll cost him. Who cares?
Welcome back. Welcome back to Pro Slammer, Victor Bray.
675. That will close out qualifying. He tried very hard. There's no question about that. And it's just so great to see the man back. Gerald McDornan caught up with him in the braking area.
Victor Bray just shaking the hands of the fireys down here that always put in a big effort, mate. But another one, 675.
Yeah, I talking to Van before. They would have been nice to put an 80 down. We had an 86 in Sydney not long back, or a year ago, I should say, before I got crook. And so we put pretty much the same tune up in there. Didn't go down the track. Started rattling a little bit. I thought I could have got through it, but no. So pedalled it a couple of times, took it down to the top end, make sure I got a bit of data for the next event. So it's really good.
Well, let's have a look at the qualifying results. Only 0.15 of a second separated the 8 cars. Number 1, Stephen Ham with that 5.65. 1,000th of a second behind him, Paul Mouhayet at number 2. John Zappai, 3rd in that championship battle. 4th was Sam Fennick. Gary Phillips, 5th. Marty Dack, 6th. Benny Brace, 7th. And rounding out the field, Mark Valeri.
We're in for an enormous first round of eliminations, so make sure you stay with us on 400 Thunder Championship Drag Racing. We'll be bringing you all of that straight after this short break. Welcome back to 400 Thunder Championship Drag Racing. We are about to move into the first round of eliminations in Gumdale Demolition's Pro Slammer. It's been an enormous qualifying battle just to get into this field. One guy that made it into number 8 is the defending champion, Mark Valeri.
Guys, I'm down here in the pit area of the reigning champion in Pro Slammer, and that is Mark Valeri. Still got the number 1 on the side of the car, mate, but unfortunately it is going to be the last time, this year at least, that you've got that number 1 on the car.
Yeah, no, it's on the AT Delco Pro Slammer for one more event. We can get to take it off after this weekend.
And mate, in terms of the championship, it hasn't exactly gone your way in trying to repeat after last year's performance. Last year was outstanding for you. This weekend, this season, I should say, a few more challenges thrown at you, including guys like Paul Mouhayet just running numbers out of this world.
Yeah, no, everyone stepped up their game this season. Paul's come in with the Moitz's crew, and their car's phenomenal. Scotty's been there now. He's run a 550 in testing, so Zap's always there. Benny and Frankie Taylor and even Sam stepped up.
Let's have a look at the round 1 matchups here in Pro Slammer. Sam Fennick will take on Gary Phillips. Stephen Ham will take on Mark Valeri. The 2 matchups that everyone's watching, John Zappai taking on Marty Dack, and Paul Mouhayet to take on Benny Bray.
Here we go, round 1 of eliminations. Gumdale Demolition's Pro Slammer at the Gulf Western Oil 51st Winternationals. The pairing we see first, Sam Fennick from Sydney in the App Shop Camaro, taking on Gary Phillips in the blue Studebaker.
Yeah, Gary Phillips running a bit of a limited schedule this season. He opened up the season with a win in Pro Slammer. Has done pretty well here, qualified number 5. Sam Fennick was number 4 qualifier, only a couple hundred separating these 2 cars. Fennick with lane choice, he has taken that right-hand side of the screen lane there for the Upshot Camaro.
Well, Fennick was runner-up to John Zappai down in Sydney for the Gulf Western Oil's Nitro Thunder, and he has been in good form. Not quite hitting the straps as well this weekend in qualifying, but he made it into the field, and let's face it, 10 drivers didn't. Gary Phillips doing double duties, driving the Pro Slammer and a Pro Alcohol car this weekend.
Well, Gary Phillips only did 1 pass in qualifying. He was happy with that off-the-trailer run.
Oh, Phillips has got the advantage off the start line and put the glasses down. It is Gary Phillips all the way, 583, big speed as well.
Rusty, how did you see that from the start line?
Both cars severe tyre shake there, so much so that Sam Fennick's right-hand side door opened partway down the track. Now, it was lucky the car was actually sliding that way, because when it came back, it shut itself, but Sam Fennick, the pipes went wet there. 583, though, with a big pedal from Gary Phillips. That is a fantastic run for him.
Yeah, Rusty Gregory often sees things from the start line that we don't pick up from the commentary box, but I got to tell you, I'll be amazed if this man stops for an interview with Gerald McDormand, because he's got a Pro Alcohol funny car sitting in the staging lanes waiting for him. He's onto the scooter and away.
What about this view here inside the car of Stephen Ham, our number 1 qualifier, strapped in, about to go down this track at 400 kilometers per hour in that Tuzo Camaro. He skids there. He will be taking on Mark Valeri.
Yeah, the AC Delco Monaro. This is our number 1 qualifier in the form of Stephen Ham up against our number 8 qualifier, our outgoing Australian champion. Now this view of Stephen Ham's Fuso Brisbane Camaro, you can see the Lenco transmission in there, just to the right of the driver. He was running a 5-speed Liberty transmission earlier in the season, but found it too savage on the car, too hard to get the suspension set up, and he's gone back to that Lenco transmission. Hey, hasn't slowed him down at all, Mark.
It's working for the team. Number 1 qualifier. Mark Valeri has got a job in front of him if he wants to advance to the semi-finals in a Gumdale Demolition Pro Slammer. Stephen Ham.
He's been on fire with this car, absolutely flying. But you can't take anything away from Mark Valeri. The defending champion is still 3rd in the points. He's going to finish up 3rd for the championship. And I'll tell you what, he's got a massive hole shot on Steve Ham.
He has got a huge hole shot. Shootout early, it doesn't matter. Mark Valeri gets the upset win here, round 1 over top qualifier Stephen Ham. He goes through to the semi-finals, a 5.97 second pass. Wow, 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 wow. Upset here. Rusty with Morris Fabietti on the start line.
It's always an upset when number 8 takes out number 1, but Morris Fabietti, you had confidence the whole way through, mate.
Mate, the team, the AC Delco team, fantastic job. We played with the suspension this morning. We got it right. The car's a cracker. We hotted it up because we knew Steve wasn't going to be an easy player. So we've heard it, but we're going to fix it. We'll be back.
There you go. Morris Fabietti is nothing if not passionate about his racing, boys.
Well, Mark Valeri had a 009 reaction time and absolutely gained a 0.15 advantage right from the start line. Then Ham has a problem. Number 8 goes through to the semi-final, Mark.
Well, that's 2 upsets in a row here in Pro Slammer. Valeri taking the win. Gerald McDonough down in the braking area gets an interview with our driver.
Mark Valeri, a 009 light, knocked off the number 1 qualifier. What a first round for the AC Delco team.
Yeah, no, the AC Delco Pro Slam was marching on till about the 1,000 foot and lifted the blower off it. So we've got a bit of work to do before the second round. Hopefully the weather stays in for us and we can get these AC Delco Pro Slam into the next round.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, that was an upset, no question about it. There's Steve Ham. He'll be disappointed, but hey, there's a lot of sportsmanship in this Gumdale Demolition Pro Slammer field, that's for sure, Mark.
That there is. Now, we get down to the championship races, Rob.
Here is John Zappai in the office of the Fuchs HQ Monaro, and he has a lead. If he lost here, he's still in the championship lead. But I tell you what, he wants to go all the way. He wants to win the Gulf Western Oil 51st Winternationals. But I reckon this guy beside him, Marty Dack, he's got the potential to cause yet another upset right here and now.
Well, that's it. We've had 2 upsets so far in the first 2 rounds of racing here in Pro Slammer. Marty Dack went 5.77 in qualifying. You can't take him lightly here. John Zappai, he cannot take him lightly. This is championship stakes.
Zappier's got about a 1/10 of a second advantage in performance, but I reckon on average reaction times, you'd say Marty Dack's likely to leave the start line first. That could be the big equaliser here. He did leave first, but too soon. It's a red light by 14 thousandths of a second. Zappier gets it. Oh, Rusty Gregory. It looks like Zap's in trouble anyway. Man, there's upsets in Pro Slammer.
I tell you what, John Zappai was a lucky man there. He only went 0.1 on the reaction times and the car went silent. He was a duck in the water, but still get the win like there, Richard Zappai, mate. Congratulations, championship still on.
Is it? Oh my God. I thought we'd lost it. I thought the thing rolled through and I'm thinking, oh, what happened to the car? Did it do a blowout or what? But...
Marty Dack red lit. So there you go.
Well, I was watching my lane. So yeah, we're just looking forward to the next round now. Thank you.
And we'll know exactly what's going to happen in this next round, because if Paul Mouhayet can win, he takes on John Zappai in the semi-finals in the race that will decide the Pro Slammer Championship.
Well, what can you say? There he is, the 11-time Slammer champion, John Zappai. You got to have some luck some days, and he's just had a huge bucket load of it. Here comes Paul Mouhayet in the Moitz Mac Komatsu Mustang to take on Benny Bray in the Gulf Western Oil's Corvette. And what a great shot from up on the roof of that Corvette of Ben's. But Paul Mouhayet now, Zappier's through. Mouhayet must win this race to keep the championship alive.
It's that simple. Paul Mouhayet must win. If he gets the win, it comes down to the semi-finals, but first he needs to get past Benny Bray.
Well, Ben has been into the 570s, so he has got enough to take it to Paul Mouhayet. And of course, this is the Gulf Western Oil's 51st Winternationals, and he'd love to win it for his sponsor. And he's got a good record here at the Winternationals. Can he cause the sort of upset that we saw Bolleri do to Ham? Will Ben Bray hand the championship to Zappai, or is Mouhayet going to take it to a decider in the semi-final?
Benny Bray's in full stage. Here it is. Championship race. Benny Bray out. We can see Mouhayet streaking ahead. He will get the win here. It will be a semi-final matchup with John Zappai. 565 to a 613. Paul Mouhayet, John Zappai, semi-finals, Rob.
Have a look at this. Another strong 565. Mouhayet will have lane choice in the semi when he takes on John Zappai, and it is going to be absolutely awesome. Now, Gerald McDornand's down in the deep end. The stage is set. It's on.
Paul Mouhayet, you've given us the semi-final everyone was looking forward to. 565 lane choice against John Zappai, who's got a bit of a problem.
Yeah, look, never count John Zappai out. Him and his crew are always on their job. My crew really pulled forward this weekend and gave me a great race car. Mac, Komatsu, Mouhayet, I can't do this without you guys. I'd like to say a big shout out to the Taylor family. Had some bad news here yesterday, and I don't ever know how you deal with stuff like that, but my heart goes out to you guys.
Yeah, devastating news yesterday from America where Paul Taylor Jr. Unfortunately, tragically passed away, and it really has affected a number of the Pro Slammer teams here this weekend. But we've got a big semi-final coming up, Mark.
That we do. Gary Phillips will take on Mark Bolleri in our first semi-final matchup. That's a big race there. Bolleri coming with an upset win there over Stephen Ham in round one. But the race of the season. It doesn't matter who's won what previously. It all comes down to Paul Mouhayet, John Zappai, the race for the championship.
There's no question. That is going to be huge. The semi-final showdown of the season, and we're going to be bringing it to you on 400 Thunder Drag Racing straight after this break. Welcome back to 400 Thunder Championship Drag Racing. It's the 51st Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. Pro Slammer is headed for the semi-final showdown, and it is going to decide the entire 2017-2018 Pro Slammer Championship. First up, we're going to be seeing the cars of Gary Phillips and, of course, Mark Bolleri. Can he go all the way to the final, Mark Allen?
It'd be a good way to finish the season for the team, for the AC Delco team. Gary Phillips in the lane beside him. He is looking to invest in his second final of the season in that Studebaker. They've been pretty consistent around 570 qualifying. They got the win round one, had lane choice here. They've taken to the lane to the right of screen as we see them backing up.
Well, Gary Phillips, I mean, he's a 20-time Australian champion. Most of those have come in the pro alcohol category. But he has won Pro Slammer. He's won the title in the past. And of course, he won the opening round of the current championship season. But without major backing this year, he has sat out most of the away rounds. So it's all about whether he can win the Winter Nationals this weekend. And of course, Mark Bolleri for AC Delco, well, he's going to have to hand over the number one at the end of this event. But he is currently number third, and he would love to claim a 400 Thunder Gold Christmas Tree Trophy for this, the Gulf Western Oil's Winternationals.
Well, Mark Bolleri went 009 on the tree in that first round of racing. That's your reaction time, 009. Gary Phillips is going to be on the money here. He can't let Bolleri get any sort of advantage.
Oh, Bolleri's gone too soon this time.
He took a little bit too much off the tree. Gary Phillips will go through to the final. 576. They're into their second final of the season. The team are happy. They're ecstatic, over the moon. I wouldn't have picked Gary Phillips to be making the final, Rob. I must admit.
14 thousandths of a second too soon was Mark Valeri. His day comes to an end, but Gary Phillips is headed for another Pro Slammer final here at the Winternationals.
Wow, what a pass there, Gary Phillips. 5.76, but Rusty on the start line with Morris Fabietti, team owner for Mark Valeri.
Guys, down here with Morris Fabietti, mate. Mark has been such a sensational driver over the last couple of years. Sometimes when you say that close to the sun, you're going to get burned.
Oh, well, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. But he's done a fantastic job driving the AC Delco Monaro. He's going to be missed, but I'm sure they'll do bigger and better things with whatever they do in the future. We're going to miss him, but he's done a great job for us.
So this is the last race for Mark in the seat this weekend?
Yes, unfortunately it is. Work and family commitments, they've had to pull the plug for now. We don't know what the future's going to hold. We're looking for a new guy and we'll see what happens.
Well, they've been a great team over the last couple of years. Your reigning champions outgoing this weekend. Oh, that one hurt. Morris Fabietti, put your hands together for the AC Delco team.
Mark Valeri, unfortunately red light, not the way you want to go out, but a fantastic year, 3 years driving with Morris Fabietti in the AC Delco team.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I've really got to thank Morris, Fabietti and Mary and my dad, my family for letting me do this for so long. It's been great. You know, we've had a lot of highs and lows racing for AC Delco and Holden. It's a dream come true. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and I really have to thank all my crew for just sorry for wasting that pass. Yeah, not the best way to go off, that's for sure. I'm dirty on myself big time.
You shouldn't be. You should be very proud. Number one on the car means you're a champion. Up to you, Rusty.
It's all come down to this, guys. This is the championship race that is up next in Pro Slammer. Paul Mouhayet taking on John Zappai, and it hasn't been all smooth sailing for either of these races. Paul Mouhayet hurt the engine in the first qualifying session. There was fire. There was bits and pieces hanging out of it. John Zappai, on the other hand, killed the gearbox between the first round of racing and the semi-final round. This is the one that will decide the title.
Here is John Zappai moving forward inside the HQ Monaro. Lays down a long, smoky burnout. Paul Mouhayet's going to do likewise in the Moitz Mack Truck Komatsu Mustang. Mark Allen, we've been waiting for this all year. We kind of hoped it would happen in the final, but it's in the semi. They go head to head. They decide the championship. It is up to these two guys, isn't it?
It's down to this pass. As I've said previously, it doesn't matter what has happened throughout the season. All that matters is this one race right now.
Winner takes all for the championship. Here we go, semi-final. Gumdale Demolition Pro Slammer at the Gulf Western Oil 51st Winternationals. The crowd are absolutely packed into the stands and on the hill here at Willowbank Raceway. They've been following this intriguing battle. John Zappai never lays down. Man, 11-time champion. Paul Mouhayet, the rookie in his first ever season. Can he do it? Man, let's sit back and watch this one, Mark. Zap's got the wall. Mouhayet's across the line. Mouhayet is the champion. He runs a 5.65, but as soon as John Zappai got out of the groove, he was in trouble. Mouhayet was going to get there, and just to confirm it, Zapp touches the wall. That's disqualification, Mark.
Paul Mouhayet, take a bow. He is your Pro Slammer 400 Thunder champion. Watch the replay. John Zappai got the whole shot. He did his job as the driver, but the car with the wheels up in the air, he couldn't steer, tags the wall, ends his championship there. Paul Mouhayet straight down the groove, his second 5.65 pass in a row. He has lane choice in the final, but he is your 400 Thunder champion.
Look at this as we ride along with John Zappai. It was wild. He knows the championship's gone. Rusty Gregory, what a result.
Billy, you said coming into this race that it was just another race. It wasn't just another race.
Well, as a tuner and a crew chief, you have to approach each round like that. But, you know, I've heard since the beginning, when I came to Australia, Paul told me that this race was out of control. The fans were awesome, and he did not disappoint me. This is just an awesome facility, an awesome group of people, and I'm so glad that we could bring the Moitz Komatsu Mack Mustang here and win this championship.
Speaking of winning the championship, the man who was about to get the trophy is at the other end of the racetrack. He's with Gerald.
Paul Mouhayet, congratulations. Australian 400 Thunder Pro Slammer champion.
Thank you very much. Firstly, I'd like to thank Moits for allowing me to do this. My sponsors, Mack Trucks, Komatsu, Billy Stockland, you are the man. My crew, Vic, Bill, Skip, David, Daniel. I love you guys. This is for you guys. Thank you very much.
What an incredible battle. What an incredible season.
Look, it's our rookie season. We come out here with the best. You know, I bought the best crew chief I think there is around. I've got the best crew. I've got a great car, Proline power. All the guys that make this possible, I really thank you.
There is no question about the amount of emotion around Paul Mouhayet winning in his rookie season in the toughest category in 400 Thunder drag racing.
Well, let's have a look at the final matchup here in Gumdale Demolition Pro Slammer. We will see our new champion, Paul Mouhayet, take on the legend, Gary Phillips.
Well, the sun has set at Willowbank Raceway as we head towards the finals, and we have had an incredible crowd across the 4 days. 33,000 have packed into Willowbank Raceway across the action. Let's have a look how these guys got to the final. Gary Phillips in round one taking on Sam Fennick in the Appshot Camaro. Fennick just could not match what Gary Phillips had in store, and Phillips lays down a really strong 583.
Yeah, the semi-final matchup, Phillips took on our outgoing 400 Thunder Pro Slammer champion, Mark Valeri, and yet again another good pass from Gary Phillips. A 576 improved from that round one, put him through to the final.
They're absolutely delighted to be going to the final of Gumdale Demolition Pro Slammer. Now on the other side of the tree was this guy. Came into the event number 2 in the championship. He qualified number 2 in the field. Took on Ben Bray in the first round. Ben didn't quite have enough to match the Mustang on this occasion as Mouhayet laid down a super strong 565.
And we see Mouhayet there, Benny Bray in the braking area. You know, it is a lot of friendships here. Semi-finals time though, this was the race that decided the championship. John Zappai, Paul Mouhayet, side by side. Zappai tagging the wall, takes away his opportunity for the championship. Mouhayet takes another win here with another 565. That car is incredibly consistently quick.
There was only 18 thousandths of a second hole shot in that to John Zappai. So I honestly think as soon as Zappai got out of the groove and started to lose traction, Mouhayet was always going to win that semi-final because he had enough performance to make up that 18 thousandths. Now he's not going to be able to give away anything to Gary Phillips. We know that.
Now this is the final for Gumdale Demolition Pro Slammer. The championship, it's over, it's done. This is about the Gulf Western Oil's trophy now, the Winternationals trophy, Rob.
Well, that's exactly what it's about. We've just seen Paul Mouhayet claim the gold Christmas tree for the championship. I'm sure he'd like the gold Christmas tree for the Gulf Western Oil's 51st Winternationals win as well. And he has got the car to do it. But if there's a racer that will put him under pressure, it's probably this man. Gary Phillips in the Studebaker, the Brisbane-based racer, has a very strong record here at the Winternationals. And let's face it, here he is in the final of Gumdale Demolition Pro Slammer, and he's got his Pro Alcohol funny car in the staging lanes ready to run the final of that one as well. Man, what a performance.
Gary Phillips at his home track. He's probably got about 10,000 laps on Paul Mouhayet when it comes to data for this track here at Willowbank Raceway. Has he got enough power, enough information in that brain of his to get around Paul Mouhayet, our new champion?
This is wife Debbie just guiding him into the pre-stage area, while son and basically tuner these days, Shane, is at the back of the car. He was setting up the cameras. Paul Mouhayet, he's already on a high. It must be hard to get back, get calm, get ready, and here he is, ready to get on with it.
Pro Slammer final here. Paul Mouhayet is streaking away. The champion backs up the championship with the win here for Pro Slammer. Runs another 5.65, doubles up. Gumdale Demolition Pro Slammer. Your winner is Paul Mouhayet.
And what a worthy winner here. He's fought it all the way through the season, and just with a string of 5.6-second passes, he's done everything needed to not only win the title, but win the bracket as well, win the event. And it's an absolutely awesome result for Paul Mouhayet and the Moits team. Rusty Gregory, they have to be over the moon.
Billy Stockland, you've done the double, mate, taken the championship and the Winternationals title in your first season. This has been phenomenal for this Moits team.
Well, we've just really had a good outing. Like I said earlier, we went through a lot of parts this weekend, overcame a lot of obstacles, and we're just really happy to make the finals for Moits, Matt, Komatsu, everybody here, Kirsten, Chalk Moit, everybody made it out. We just really appreciate everything you do for us.
Congratulations, mate. Enjoy the win. And remember, that's actually a repeat of a final that we saw earlier on in the season between Gary Phillips and Paul Mouhayet, but this time around the roles are reversed. Paul Mouhayet, your winner in Pro Slammer.
Well, Paul, what a season. Congratulations. Magnificent way to top it off.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Willowbank for putting on this brilliant event. IHRA, 400 Thunder, you guys rock. We had a great season. Billy Stockland, my crew, my wife, my kids, my family, everybody that makes this happen, you know who you are. Thank you very much.
Well, Paul Mouhayet came into this final event in second spot, but he ends up with a 35-point win over John Zappai. Mark Valeri held on to third, Ben Bray in fourth, Frankie Taylor in fifth. Then we had Sam Fennick, Steve Ham, Gary Phillips, Andrew Searle, and Michelle Davies to round out the top 10. Mark, Pro Slammer started with 18 cars, got down to just those two. What an event.
I've seen a lot of drag racing in my time, and I think this is easily the most memorable season so far we've ever seen in the Pro Slammer class.
That is for sure. We hope you've enjoyed this 400 Thunder Championship drag racing. Join us next time when we bring you more action from the Gulf Western Oil 51st Winternationals. It's going to be top fuel dragsters.
We have more to come from the 2018 Winter Nationals after the break as we turn our attention to Top Fuel and the championship fight between Kelly Betts and Damien Harris.